Max, a woman in my section wants to know if we do anything gluten-free. What do I tell her? Tell her she's not allergic to gluten. She's just masking an eating disorder.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to hit
pop stars with auto-tune. And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much, we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
Let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I go to mybookie.ag. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay you when you win. Look, I wouldn't be telling you to bet mybookie.ag if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with mybookie.ag. That's mybookie.ag.
They're killing me, Whitey. They're killing me.
Well, what do we do? This just got way too complicated.
I've got it. Here's what's going down. Corey, you talk to your team. You guys are going to decline that holding call.
Done.
Yo, wait, but hold on. Say, Sean, once we break this huddle, you're going to get out there, do some crazy celebration. I'm talking some humpies. Whatever you got to do, you do it.
Okay, I got you.
I'm going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on the celebration, giving the Whites better field position after the kickoff. Coach, I need you to talk to your team about letting them run that kickoff back.
Why would I do that?
Think about it. Defense, special team, it's all one. You let them run that kickback, both your defenses get 6 points.
Nice.
Okay, everyone good here?
Yeah.
Nope. Once again, my kicker is getting no love.
Oh, shut up, Bill. Your team is in first place. Plus, you're about to get extra point for the PAT.
Yeah, don't be greedy, Bill.
Stop being greedy, Bill.
Bill.
Fine.
Bill. Yeah, Bill.
I said fine.
Bill.
Bill. Yeah, Bill. You, Bill.
All right, let's do this. Get out there.
Wait a minute. Trayshawn comes in with a very delayed celebration here. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that's going to be yeah, there it is. Another
Armchair. Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Georgie, would you like some Jell-O?
Why'd you put the bananas in there?
George likes the bananas!
So let him have bananas on the side!
All right, please! Please! I cannot have this constant bickering. Stress is very damaging to the epidermis.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Calling my boss after she fired me.
The Happy Endings Nursing Home, how may I help you?
Susan, it's me. Please, just give me my job back. Please, 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 please. You know that was just an honest mistake.
We had to call her family and tell her she's dead because our nurse took the plug out of the wall to charge his cell phone.
Okay. Obviously, I wouldn't have pulled it if it had been labeled correctly.
There are no plugs behind a hospital bed that should be pulled.
I don't think that's grounds for firing me.
What about the narcotics that have gone missing from your patients?
No. Mm-mm.
Yes.
You can't use that against me because nothing was ever proven on that.
You know what was you pulled the plug on a delightful old lady. You need to hope that her family does not come after you for a manslaughter suit.
Well, she was a woman, so it wouldn't be manslaughter. So.
Armchair.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. The first round of the Masters is in the books. We'll get to the leaderboard here in a second, but today's tee times looks like this. At 8 a.m., Vijay Singh starts it all off. 9:12, Freddie Couples tees off, followed by Zach Johnson at 9:24. Billy Horschel takes the green at 9:48, and Phil Mickelson, Tommy Fleetwood both start their round at 10:06 a.m. Adam Scott gets his day going with Bryson DeChambeau, who is 4 over and trying to rally. They started off at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Tony Finau and Justin Thomas at 10:42, while Jordan Spieth and Colin Morikawa begin at 10:54 a.m. Jason Day is at 12:48, along with Matt Wolff. Hideki Matsuyama, 1 o'clock Eastern, along with Harry English. And at 1:12, Bubba Watson, Brooks Koepka, and Victor Hovland all begin their round. Sergio Garcia is at 1:24 with Webb Simpson, and Dustin Johnson, Lee Westwood at 1:36. John Rahm and McIlroy at 1:48. And the final pairing, 2 o'clock Eastern, Patrick Reed, Daniel Berger, and Paul Casey. Full coverage begins at 3 Eastern on ESPN, but select holes and pairings can be followed on the Plus. Some games of interest yesterday. Mets over the Marlins 3-2 on a controversial ending. Cubs over the Pirates 4-2. Craig Kimbrell locks down the save. And the Red Sox stay red hot, winning 4 in a row, beating the Orioles 7-3. Games of interest today at 3:10 Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays opening day. They host the New York Yankees. It's Corey Kluber versus Rich Hill. Nats and Dodgers are at 4:10 Eastern. Walker Buehler versus Joe Ross. Angels and Blue Jays are at 7:07 p.m. And at 7:20, the Philadelphia Phillies try to continue where they left off. After sweeping the Atlanta Braves, they're heading to Truist Park. 7:20 first pitch. It's Charlie Morton versus Zach Wheeler. If you're looking for a good late game, the A's are at the Astros, Manaea versus McCullers at 8 o'clock. And in the National Hockey League at 7 o'clock Eastern on the Plus, you've got the Rangers taking on the Islanders. On NBA TV, the Grizzlies are at the Knicks at 7:30, and at 10 o'clock, the Wizards travel to the Warriors. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern Sports Talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Roy McIlroy sure better have taken his father out for a great steak dinner last night. Way to embarrass your pops, dude.
Hi, I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. That might be $40 million wasted if MLB finds out that Trevor Bauer's been doing some dirty things. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
And now it's time for Church Chat.
Settle down. All right,
hello, I'm the church lady, and this is Church Chat. Well, there's been so much going on. We have so much to talk about tonight, so let's just get right to it. All righty.
Church lady, I'm not going to whitewash it. I let my church down, and I let my family down.
And didn't we let something else down, like our trousers?
No, we never had any course.
Well, crap, I screwed that one up trying to scroll through this thing. It froze. So anyways, welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Damn, I hate technology sometimes. We'll get it going here. Justin, how the hell are you this morning?
Well, I mean, if I could have heard the rest of that mashup, it could have been awesome. It was headed down a road that I was wondering where we were going.
Tony, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
Good, man. How are you guys?
I am phenomenal. I'm looking forward to a weekend of the Masters when it's supposed to be, not in the middle of November during football. So yesterday, Justin Rose got on a roll, and a couple of your big names have not had such a great day, but they're not out of it yet. Tony, what say you?
Yeah, I actually got to watch a lot yesterday. I had the day off of work, and I watched more yesterday than I will today. So it was nice. It was good to see the course playing tough again compared to November. But that's just more just because of the time of the year. And I think it'll actually play tougher yesterday and today than it will over the weekend. I think they'll get some rain late today and maybe some sporadic showers through the weekend. I think Saturday is kind of the worst forecast. So I think they made it tough on purpose these first 2 days, knowing that the rain's coming, and we'll see who makes the cut. It's top 50 plus ties, so we'll see who sneaks in for the weekend.
Justin, what did you think of the first round?
Man, I think I could have been competitive. No, I'm kidding. There was a lot of ball movement, and I know that's typical on the tour, but I saw a lot of guys shaping and a lot of playing from the woods that haven't seen in a long time. And maybe it's just because we didn't see the Masters in the spring last year, and it's been 2 years since the guys have seen the course like this. But man, just a lot of errant tee shots and some bad recoveries. I mean, your video intro, I forget who did it, but we saw a bunch of balls, recovery shots out of the woods, ping off trees and make it 3 times worse. So it was interesting and fun to watch. Anytime you get to see a tour player look like an average Joe, that's pretty comical for me and pretty humbling.
I was the Tommy Fleetwood hole-in-one was really cool. And then watching Jordan Spieth trying to get out of the pine needles, that was classic. When he hit the first one, he's like, "Wait, where the hell did it go?" It went about 10 yards the other direction, buddy.
Yeah. And then everybody was tentative with a putter too, and I mean rightfully so. This is a course you have to be cautious with, but it's going to be interesting to see, does anybody get comfortable and set in and actually dive right at the heart of these cups and start sinking some putts and make a move.
Yeah, it was funny watching Spieth yesterday. You're right. Like 9 for him was an adventure, and I think he had the right plan. He just kind of got under it and popped it up, and of course the ball ended up behind him. But he salvaged
there though, right? You see that, and you're like, okay, so I'm not the only one that's done that. Of course,
yeah. So he whipped one left.
It comes back and like actually, hits me in the groin or something, and then it's just like wah wah wah.
Yeah, he salvaged triple, and then after that, and I say salvage because that could have even been worse. I mean, he kind of got lucky. With a triple there, it easily could have been an 8 or a 9. But the golf gods kind of gave one back to him. He everybody flew the 15th green yesterday, and when you do that, it's a par 5, so you've got some shots to work with. But when you fly that green, your comeback chip is almost straight downhill because that green is so slanted. And if he didn't hit the pin and have that go in for eagle, it would have went in the water, and all of a sudden you're looking at another 7 or 8 and wondering if he's going to make the cut. So hopefully he'll put up a good number today and be right in it. I feel like the only reason I didn't pick him for anything is just because he won last week.
So it's not like he's in danger of missing the cut right now.
No. I was saying yesterday on 15, that could have easily went Ari if that doesn't hit the pin. But I feel like the whole world's rooting for him, and I am too. The only reason I didn't pick him is just it's tough to come off of one win and then win again the next weekend. It's almost kind of like the with the NCAA tournament the other night where Gonzaga had that miracle win, and then it felt like they didn't have any energy left on Monday night. So, but yeah, I'd love to see Spieth right in there. It's going to be awesome. And And then, Justin Rose last night just put on a putting clinic and really never got himself into big time trouble, which that was the key yesterday.
Yeah, I look at him being about 3 to 4 shots off the pace, because there's no way Justin Rose keeps up the pace that he did yesterday. I think he'll come back down to earth. So if you take Justin Rose out of it, he's only 2 shots behind the lead.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Justin Rose can't win it. What I'm saying is I don't think he's going to put up another 7, and then you're screwed the rest of the weekend. I think everyone will be fighting for around par. It's usually moving day that you see the highest scores, but you say that there's being prediction of heavy rain. That can make you a little more aggressive. It also means that play could get halted until Sunday, and then you don't know what they're going to do with the course. But the looking at today's tee times, Justin Rose, by the way, tees off early, at 9:36 a.m.
Yeah, so, Rose actually, it's rare that you have an afternoon tee time where you put up a low score like Rose did yesterday on Thursday in the Masters. I think they said it's like 8 out of the last 10 winners had a morning on Thursday, put up a low score, and then an afternoon on Friday. So when you flip that around for Rose, it's kind of a rarity, but he's got a chance today, I think, to put up another low number with the course being a little bit softer in the morning.
And Spieth is 10:54 a.m. and some of your other guys on the leaderboard, Harmon's at noon, Matsuyama is at 1, Webb Simpson and Patrick Reed, they tee off at 1:24 and 2 o'clock respectively, and John Rahm 1:48. He's right there in the thick of it. I think so. Tony, what would you say your score had to have been yesterday to have a realistic shot of being in it for the weekend? So in other words, are you looking at the even line? Are you looking at +1, +2? Where would you have had to have been finished yesterday to have a realistic shot?
I think yesterday, +2 is still okay. I think anything beyond +2, and you're going to have to put up a pretty low number. It seems like the cut line's probably going to be +1 or +2. And like I said, this year they made it a little bit more stringent compared to what they did in November. This year, it's just the top 50 plus ties. So there's not going to be a lot of golfers making the weekend compared to, your usual tournament where they just cut it in half and there's 70 or 80 out there or in the high 60s. But yeah, I'm just looking at the list. The guys who shot more than +2, I don't see any of those guys, coming back and putting on a tear. It was funny watching DeChambeau yesterday because he debuted this 4-degree driver, which nobody hits. And, if he would just hit a regular, maybe like a 6 or a 7-degree loft driver and not act like a wild man, he might be better off. But honestly, his driver got him into a little trouble, but he flushed every iron, and every iron shot he went to the back of the green. And you can't do that all the time at the Masters. It's going to cost you strokes. And I felt like he lost more strokes with his irons yesterday than he did with that driver that everybody's been pumping up this week.
Rory McIlroy at +4. I hate to see that because I'd really like to see him play the weekend and have a fighting chance at it, Sergio as well. Justin, what are you looking at today?
Well, one, can he bounce back? The way he hits the ball with his high flight, you would think it would be when the course gets hard, he could land it soft, and it plays into Rory's game, but he just did not have the control yesterday. Honestly, I'm watching something probably nobody else is. Victor Hovland, we talked yesterday. Nobody knew who in the heck he was, or the most average casual fan didn't. But he comes out in triple bogeys playing against Watson and Koepka the first hole, and kid hangs in there all day. He comes back and then has 3 birdies in a row and's playing it even. I think he finished 1 over for the day. But, dude, that's 2 heavyweights he's playing with, and I'm going to learn more about that kid and excited to watch him. Hopefully they're part of the feature group, or I can at least catch them turning some of these televised turns.
Yeah, Hovland's awesome. He's a Norwegian kid, and I think he played at Oklahoma State. He's in that group with him and Morikawa and Wolf and those guys. They're all young guys that came out of college at the same time. They're all playing in the NCAA finals a few years ago. But I was watching the same thing. I saw him triple 1. I'm like, man, that stinks because he's a really good golfer. I think he's going to win one of these one day. He's definitely going to win a major one day. But yeah, he didn't blink and came right back, and +1. He's fine there. Because like Max said, Justin Rose he's a great golfer. I think he'll put up another decent number today, and then we'll see what happens on Saturday and Sunday when the course kind of allows other guys to come in. The guy for me to watch, I think, is Webb Simpson. I should have picked him as my third. I don't know why I went with Kuchar, who was terrible yesterday. But Simpson is an outstanding putter. Maybe
I got McElroy. I'm not doing much better.
Yeah, Simpson might be a top 5 putter on the PGA Tour, and that's been key these first 2 days. So we'll see what he does today too. But he's got a chance to win this thing too.
DeChambeau's got to get it together. I think he's 2 over. I was trying to look for an article that I wanted to ask y'all about, but I can't find it now. There was a young golfer that spoke out against the Georgia voting law this week in Augusta, and I'm just wondering what kind of lashback he's going to get from the fans. Most of your fans at Augusta are conservative, and they probably aren't going to appreciate him pretty much bashing the Florida voting law, but I can't find it right now. It's a fairly well-known name, but I don't want to misspeak because I'm not 100% positive who it was, and I don't want to put someone's name out there that, dude, I didn't say nothing. Get them off me. But moving on from that, I want to get y'all's opinion on the fact that this Phillip Adams goes on a mass shooting, kills 5 people. Did y'all see this yesterday?
I saw a little bit of it, and I know I think they were talking about it a little bit yesterday. I guess they're going to start by citing some CTE issues. I don't know how accurate that is or not, but yeah, I guess he went full blown crazy and shot his doctor and kids and himself or something like that.
There's a new report that says Adams had medication taken away from him before the South Carolina killings. I don't have time to read the whole thing, so I don't know what that means by taken away from him. I don't know if that means that he didn't have access to it, or he just quit taking it, or what the hell that meant. But man, that's just sad for that doctor and his wife and the 2 grandkids. And I guess it was an employee at the house too that he just went bananas and freaking killed him, and then he turned the gun on himself. Adams, by the way, was for people who don't remember him, he was a defensive back. He evidently played for the Patriots as well, but he also played for the 49ers back in their previous heyday when they went in the Mike Singletary era / Harbaugh era. Adams played on that 49er team because he's about 45 years old at this point. They had a picture of him from 2010, and he was in a 49ers uniform. I don't really remember him. Like, the name kind of sounds familiar, but it's like I told my wife yesterday. I said, well, I don't remember him making a lot of fantasy football points, so he's not going to stick into my head too much. Like, you got to be showing up on Fantasy Sunday for me to go, yeah, I remember that guy. He was a bust. Justin, what say you?
Just sad story all the way around. I did see the initial reports, and I saw the family come out and pretty much lay it on the NFL. So it's curious to see what follow-up comes through with that and what kind of studies we get out of it. And it's just unfortunate all the way around. Hate to see it, and that's about it.
Well, I guess there's more star golfer. This doesn't surprise me that McElroy would speak out about it. This clown isn't. What does he have to do with the state of Georgia? And what does he have to do with the United States voting laws? And he's speaking out against freaking. He's really starting to rub me the wrong way because he.
It's funny. Some reporter asked him of all people, so it's maybe I don't know who else they asked. I'm guessing they didn't ask Bubba Watson.
It was a young kid, man, and I wish I could remember his name. He's young, blonde. I mean, super young. So I'd say below the age of 25. Hell, I don't even know if he's got voting rights. He's so young, but
they do like to ask these guys that are from other countries about their thought on America for some reason.
Yeah, which makes absolutely no sense other than they're going to say what they think people want to hear. Someone like McElroy, but he spoke out during the violence last year and in the summer. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about then. So I don't know why anyone would expect him to catch up to speed and know what he's talking about now.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll move on from that. Tony, college baseball today. This weekend. What do you have your eye on?
Well, Florida, Tennessee, big series this weekend. Tennessee's much improved the last couple of years. They were, I think, on track to have a big year last year, and of course, COVID derailed everybody. But they hit really well, so it'll be a big challenge for Florida. I think we'll be back to the starters making their regular starts this week versus starting with the relievers. So I know we'll see Tommy Mace tonight, Barco on Sunday, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Leftwich tomorrow. You could do that a little bit against Ole Miss because they don't. Ole Miss doesn't hit as well as Tennessee. Tennessee's might be one of the best top 3 hitting teams, I think, at least statistically in the SEC. So April is going to be important. The NCAA announced earlier this week that they're going to pretty much finalize the regional sites by the end of this month and announce them in early May. And it's mostly just to make sure that they pick the venues, places that are able to do, testing and all that kind of stuff. And so even like if they say they pick Florida and, Florida ends up not in the top 8 as far as national seeds go, they send Florida to, I don't know, Georgia Tech or something like that. Florida could host a regional that doesn't involve Florida. So that's on the table this year too. So it'll be a little bit different. May 10th, I think, is the week where they're supposed to announce the regionals, but it's basically going to be based on merit and, stadium and accommodations and stuff for what happens in April. So this is a very important month for a lot of teams that want to host regionals.
How did Georgia beat Vanderbilt 14-2? That's what I want to know last night.
Yeah, I didn't see the game, but saw the box score. I guess Rocker's human after all. So
that was Rocker?
Yeah, it's a big win for Georgia, who's been struggling. That was at Vanderbilt too.
Rocker pitched?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. I figured it was like, some bullpen game or something.
Yeah, they Rocker through.
I thought maybe Luke Jackson traveled up to Nashville for the weekend to pitch for.
Yeah, and then Leiter will go tonight. I don't know if that's on TV or not, but like I said, you can stream any game you want nowadays. So, but yeah, a big weekend for Florida and Tennessee.
Florida State's got a huge series this weekend. They're playing number 7 Louisville. So, yeah, I believe it is in Hassey though. So that'll help a little bit, but we'll find out how good Florida State's Florida State's played pretty good baseball recently, but we'll see how good they actually are. With you saying that they're going to lock up home fields by the end of April, series like that is enormous I'm sorry. It is in Louisville. So Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, by the way, that's a weird top 15 matchup. You don't normally see Notre Dame ranked up that high, but they're ranked up in the top 15. And let me see if there's any other SEC game, because I really don't watch any other conference except the SEC and ACC when it comes to baseball. You've got South Carolina playing Missouri. Oh, Arkansas, Ole Miss, number 2 versus number 3. That should be a good one.
I think that's on SEC Network tonight, if I remember right.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, that or the Florida Tennessee series should be. They should find a way to put them both on, like get one to play early and do a doubleheader. That would be great. But I guess they're like, yeah, everyone's gonna be watching the Masters anyways. What the hell?
Yeah, Arkansas is a fun team to watch. I caught all the Ole Miss series. Of course, we went down on Thursday to see that one. Ole Miss would be great if they could hit. I think they've got really good pitching. They need to hit a little bit better, but they'll be a force, come postseason. But there's like 4 teams maybe in the SEC that I think aren't that great. Like Missouri's one. We'll play them next week, which is why this is a swing series for Florida. If Florida can win 2 out of 3 this weekend, I think they'll be fine. I think if they lose 2 out of 3 this weekend, then they'll have to grind it out the next few weekends and make sure we host a regional. That's really first step to getting to Omaha, is not having to travel in the postseason, and that's a big deal.
I don't even know if I have enough devices to keep up with all that. Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Florida State, Louisville are all going to be playing at the same time that the Braves and Phillies and a bunch of other MLB games will be on.
Skip the Braves and Phillies.
Oh, we got to get some redemption right there, buddy. It's slap a Philly day.
Hey, there's only 156 games left, right, in that Major League Baseball.
Everyone is monumental and glorious. I don't want to hear that garbage.
Charlie Morton's on the mound.
I was happy to see them finally get a couple wins the other day.
I'll tell you that. No,
162.
I'll tell you that in September when Tennessee kicks Florida's ass. You go, dude, you've got like 8 more games. Relax.
Dude, it's time for you to go downtown and
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the Braves. I'm gonna watch the Braves play that day anyway. So
they will be playing that day.
You're off your rocker.
you're off your rocker like freaking Vanderbilt is. They're like, I don't know about this guy. Let him transfer. I would have liked to have seen how the hell he couldn't find. I guess he couldn't find the strike zone. I don't know how the hell you hit that.
I flipped it to that. I flipped it. I think it was 3-1 or so in the third or something. I guess Georgia just kind of jumped him in the first inning. And sometimes college baseball, you get a 4-run lead early. The game will get away from you sometimes. So that might have just been what happened.
I watched the Vanderbilt LSU game.
Mm-hmm.
Louisville's got me scared. Louisville got mind control over me this weekend.
It's all that draft talk. It just, it got in his head.
I'm like, man, I wonder if Lamar Jackson's still available. I watched the game where Leiter pitched. He looked phenomenal again. And this kid, if he stays healthy, could be something special. I don't think there's going to be that big of a drop-off when he goes to the pros. But it was a shame that LSU's ace, he's done for the season, it looks like. They had him projected number 4 draft pick overall, and I don't know if that's going to affect his draft stock or if someone will go, you know what, he's not going to make the majors for 3 years anyway, so, we'll go ahead and draft him. But it's just a shame to miss out on that kind of talent. We're coming up on time, Tony. What is your walk-off for the day?
And just looking forward to watching the Masters all weekend. And like I said, I'll watch Florida Tennessee baseball, obviously, and what else is going on. But yeah, I think it would be great for another big name to win the Masters. Hopefully, an American. We don't need another like David Willett or some of these other guys who win it and then you don't hear from them for 5 or 6 years. So hopefully, one of the big guns. I think I joined the rest of America in rooting for Jordan Spieth. Justin Rose would be a cool story. He's finished, he's not American, obviously, but he's finished second or third a few times in this as well. So for him to finally get a green jacket kind of puts a lid on his career. But yeah, I think it'd be awesome. I wish Rory was in it too. It's the last one he needs before he gets the career Grand Slam, and he'll win one eventually once he gets his swing and iron play figured out. But he just looks like kind of a disheveled mess out there. And these guys, they have the same swing since they're like 5 years old. They get to the PGA Tour and, they win some majors and all of a sudden they want to overhaul everything. And I don't get it. Like I've been playing golf since a little bit after college and, I finally have a decent swing and the last thing I want to do is probably change it. But these guys think they can always do more. So we'll see what happens with him long-term. But the golf this weekend is going to be awesome.
I really hope that DeChambeau makes a charge because he's so fun to watch.
Right. I really do hope he at least makes the cut because he'll make at least the morning coverage on Saturday and Sunday online worth watching versus having to sit around and wait till 2:00.
I like watching that steroid bastard just get pissed off when he shanks. Mad.
If he would just get his yardage right on those irons, he'd have been fine yesterday. But he overshot everything. It's tough to do.
Yeah, he just had a couple of them that got away from him, and his short game is good, but it's much better when it's in green play. Yeah. And he didn't look good yesterday.
He's so strong too. They were bringing this up yesterday, and it makes sense that at Augusta's not about the rough. Like the rough's not a big deal. If you hit it in the rough there, it's not bad. You get in the pine straw on the trees, that's a different story. But it's not like the U.S. Open where they grow the rough to like 1.5 feet or whatever. And that's where DeChambeau really has an advantage is he can get a ball out of that stuff at the U.S. Open no matter where it is. But at Augusta, even if it's a short hitter like Zach Johnson, if he puts it in the rough and DeChambeau puts it in the rough, they're both going to hit the ball out of there the same. It's not like he's got an advantage there. But at Torrey Pines he will. So maybe it's just a matter of the tournament. But that's all I got, boys.
All right, brother, we got to run. Great seeing you. We'll see you next week.
All right, guys, take care.
See you, bud.
If dating is the game, then marriage is winning the game.
Yeah, if you're playing in the women's league.
We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Take the scenic route in the new Hyundai Santa Fe, the family SUV with available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you travel way off the beaten path. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Expect it here. CBS Sports Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup for the second time in 4 seasons.
Here it is. The waiting is over. The New York Rangers are the Stanley Cup champions, and this one will last a lifetime.
Here's Lemieux. His center penalty coming up. Look at Lemieux. Oh, my heavens. What a goal. What a move. Lemieux. Oh, baby. Gretzky looking. Gary Curry. McSorley to Gretzky. Scores! He did it. He did it. The greatest goal scorer in National Hockey League history is Wayne Gretzky.
Armchair Quarterbacks Radio, covering the NHL like no other.
Armchair.
It's time to jump into DraftKings. Go to DraftKings today at DraftKings.com. Golf, NASCAR, soccer, you name it. And of course, Major League Baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. Go to DraftKings.com. Listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks for DFS advice all year round.
You're riding Morning Shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays, your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge, so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in socially distanced dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
Salmon skin roll.
To take the migrants back? I don't think we're going to get into private negotiations. I will just say that it's not a question of if, but when we work through with the Mexican government, being able to have the capacity to take some of these families back.
Armchair.
All right, we're back. Little drinking game for you to play this weekend.
And in case you were late to pouring your shots, I'll catch you up.
That's her new circle back. She wants to say circle back, but she's like, All right, what's happening in the world of sports?
At least it's not, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yet. That's what she's going to get to, so that she can get the younger demographic to try to jump on board Biden, because they're going to lose anyone with a brain cell. Okay. Here we go. The scoreboard from last night: Mets, Marlins. Justin, did you see this play?
I did not. I saw the final score, but I did not realize what had happened till this morning.
So I couldn't get the video to load, or I would have it. But long story short, McNeil hits a home run, I believe, to tie it. Then the Mets load the bases. This all happens in the bottom of the ninth. And I believe it was Conforto. I'm almost positive it was Conforto. I'm going to pull up the box score real quick to make sure. I know it was a left-handed hitter. And Conforto, with I believe it was a 3-2 count on him. There was a pitch that came across, and it was almost looked like an old school Maddox type of change where it popped and jumped back into the strike zone. The umpire, home plate umpire, not just fans singing, the umpire calls it a strike, Justin, which should have ended the inning. And then he realizes the ball hit Conforto on the arm, and he awards him the base. His damn arm was over the plate. If you go back and see it in slow motion, he leaned into it. He knew that he had gotten basically jelly-legged, and he leaned into it. And this clown of an umpire, I haven't figured out who the umpire is yet because I haven't heard it mentioned, but
so even though that hit arm, are you saying that should be foul bunt number 3?
That should be a strikeout. That should be a strikeout.
Right, because that's a foul ball on a bunt. That's considered a bunt?
No, it hit his arm.
Oh.
It's because if it is a strike, it cannot be a hit by pitch. Because you're not supposed to have your arm in the strike zone.
Gotcha.
It cannot be hit by pitch. And if you go by letter of the law, old school umpires, most umpires wouldn't give it to you even if it was just a little bit out the strike zone, because you're supposed to make an effort to get out of the way, not lean in. Now, look, it wasn't like he was like this and went. It was as simple as this. I mean, he literally just went like that. And he had like a big elbow Gafus Barry Bonds thing on. So, anyways, the Mets get the win. I know it's not the only bad call that we made all year. It's a human game, so you're going to have humans make issues. But that was stupid. For an umpire to call a strike and give a hit by pitch in the same call, he's incompetent. He should be suspended. I really think he should be sent down. I don't know who this is. I'll look into it and figure it out, but unfreaking believable. Used to in the box scores, they would give you the umpires, but they don't have it on this box score that I'm at. It's actually MLB's box score. They used to give so the Mets are now 2-2. The Marlins are 1-6 now. They are reeling. They really need to get some 1 or 2 wins against the Mets this weekend. Cubs beat the Pirates. Kimbrel once again was locked down. Sampson, I'm gonna start calling him Sampson because evidently he's gotten his power back in his mane. Have you seen him this year?
Have not.
He looks like Sideshow Bob. What's his name? Dustin May. He's got big old freaking clown hair coming out of his head. The Red Sox 7-1 winners against, it was Erod on the mound. Didn't have a great game, but he did get the job done. Harvey was the let me kill that wall. Harvey was the loser for the Orioles, but Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, is trying to make a comeback. Rockies 7-3 winners over the D-backs. Gray gets the win. You got Barrios at 2-0. 1.54 ERA. He's pitching well. Don't you have him in a keeper league? I feel like that he's
do.
Yeah. It's funny as these seasons go on, I start to learn like basically all the other leagues I'm not going to remember, but our dynasty one I always tend to remember the stars, who has them, which is what makes the dynasty league so much fun, I think. Gonzalez, man, he got killed. Ugh. Yeah. All right. I'm seeing 7 earned runs here. Ugh. That was a late round flyer that I took, and it has not turned out well. Lynn gets the win for the White Sox. He is pitching extremely well. He's 1-0 now. He's got a 0 ERA. Doesn't get better than that against a red hot Kansas City team. The Cardinals did take out the Brewers, and Blue Jays, Angels get the W. Angels are playing well, Justin. Houston, man, they're like a locomotive right now. 6-2 winners over the A's. So there you go. And that's what's happening. And something else I wanted to bring up, because I noticed this the other day, and I meant to bring it up when Sean was here. But several months ago, we were talking hockey. Sean was basically telling me that what teams were going to make the playoffs and the other ones don't have chances. So I haven't paid attention to the standings in forever. And lo and behold, I'm looking at it now, and not only are the New York Islanders one of the best teams in the NHL, which makes me extremely happy, I'm seeing the Nashville Predators are on the 4 line to be the last team to make the playoffs if it were to end today.
And they scored a touchdown on Sean's Red Wings last night.
Yeah.
7-1. Put a beat down on them. I don't know where it's come from, especially with the injuries. Forsberg's been out. Arvey just came back. Deshane's been out. Saros has been playing lights out after getting benched early in the season for Rene. And, I mean, he's standing on his head and playing some of the best goaltending in the league as of late. So they have fought and clawed their way back in. Now, look, the top three, I think there's about a 10-point lead for those guys, if not farther. And I think they're 4 points ahead of Chicago right now, which is the 5th place team.
Yes.
So it's not that they've stretched it out, but they're starting to pull away from Chicago. If they can keep mounting some wins and keep this momentum, I think they can lock up that 4th spot.
The difference in the two has been the overtime losses with Chicago. They've had 4 overtime losses, and that's the differential. You also have the Stars down there at 38, along with the Blue Jackets. How many games did they finally decide to play in the NHL this year?
56, I believe.
Oh, is it that close?
50. It's 50-something because it's normally 82, and they done 56 is what I have in my head for some reason.
Let me see. I can figure it. Looks like it's April 14th, the last day.
No,
Sunday, April 8th.
They will play until May 11th, I believe.
Oh, well, then they've got to have more games than that, I would think. Let's see here. Sunday, May 11th.
I mean, you're talking about a month, and you've got about 10, 13, 14 games left. Nashville's played 41, so that'd be 15 games left. I mean, you play on average about 3 games a week. So that's about right.
I believe I remember 55, but
56 is what popped up in my head. I hit 50 something.
What threw me off is when they when both them and the NBA first released it, they didn't release the entire schedule, so I wasn't sure if it was all stuck in. I know the NBA is 70, and I believe 55 is the NHL, but you're just sitting at 44. So you got 14 games left. Okay, so you're still not out of the woods yet, but it's getting there on the nitty gritty.
Yeah, because you're 7 points ahead of Dallas, and they're 3 games at hand. So they've got
Panthers and Lightning
6 points right there.
Gonna make it. So that's good for the state of Florida. Panthers and Lightning and the Hurricanes, Carolina.
Yeah.
So.
Which right now I need Tampa Bay or Florida to regain that spot because that would, if I'm correct, one would play 4, I assume, which would mean Nashville, Carolina, and Carolina is Nashville's kryptonite. I want no part of that. None of our fan base wants any of it. I mean, that's the type of game that you sell your tickets to because when you walk in, it's 3-0 in the first 5 minutes.
I'd like to see Florida get the first spot because if Florida plays the Predators, you and Brian would have a lot of fun because Brian's evidently a huge Panthers fan. He's always chiming in on the YouTube live about the Panthers. So that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that would be my most desirable matchup.
Tell you what, the East is no joke, man. What the hell? If it ended today, it'd be Islanders versus Bruins. And Pens versus Caps. Now that's fun. That's a rivalry right there.
Only thing better is if you could get the Flyers in it somehow and get the Flyers Penguins for a series. That would be amazing there.
Think they would have to do. Yeah, that's not going to happen because they're 10 points behind. No, 12 points behind Washington.
Well, they're 6 back of Boston, and I mean, just depending on where everybody else shuffles in there. I mean, maybe Pittsburgh can climb up. They're only 4 spots out of first. So, I mean, there's a scenario, but Pittsburgh or Philly's got to find a way to get past
Boston. What I'm saying for Washington to fall to the 4 and Philly to jump to the 3 with Pittsburgh at the 2, they've got to make up 12 points on.
Oh, it would be easier for Pittsburgh to advance to the 1 and Philly to advance to the 4. That's the easier scenario for them to play.
That's not going to happen, my friend. The Islanders, they're hot. They're hot.
What's disappointing is the Flames falling off. There's no hope we're going to get Oilers Flames for the Battle of Alberta in the postseason. I mean, well, I know we've seen a lot this year, but
you lost me.
That's still not enough.
You absolutely lost me at Canada. Okay, we've got to get the mock draft going because we got a lot of picks to do in a very little time to do it. So let's go ahead and get into mock draft mode. You've got the 17th pick overall, so we'll go ahead and get this rolling. It is the Raiders, and they've got the 17th pick. They've got a lot of needs, but where are you going for the 17th pick overall?
Well, I didn't get my updated revised list last night, so I do not know everyone that was taken. But yes, they need tackle, linebacker, inside.
Oh, you didn't see the
line.
text?
Well, I mean, I didn't get who y'all drafted. I did not get that text.
Okay, I can run that. I thought I sent that to you, but okay. My bad if I did not. Waddle, Sewell, Vera Tucker, Kwity Paye, Trey Lance to the Patriots, and J.C. Horn are all gone.
In that case, I'm going to.
Anytime I do that, man, just remind me, because all it is a copy and paste. Because
I forgot all about it till this morning. I assumed you just roll through them. I'm going to go with the new defense with Gus Bradley rolling in and Ndakwe and Crosby being paired up there. I'm going to move back to linebacker for a defensive position for the Raiders. It's that or offensive line. I feel like we've had a small run on the top tier offensive lineman. So I'm going to go Jeremiah Koromoa, the Notre Dame linebacker for Las Vegas Raiders.
Hate these names. I don't know how to spell them. If they're not right in front of me, I don't.
Koramoah. Koromoa, I assume, and if not, I apologize to you and your family.
Fair enough. All right, so now we get into the Arizona Cardinals. They've got a lot of needs, but I'm going to.
All right, you're throwing me a curveball. Did Miami trade out? I must be having an old draft order.
Oh, this is sorry. Give me a second. Yeah, this is one where they traded out. This is Miami's pick. What the hell? I don't know how I ended up with that. Give me 1 second.
No, you're good. Miami's interesting this year. With their first pick, I'm going to go back and look real quick and see if I can remember. They took Jamar Chase, so they've gotten the outside help for Tua Tagovailoa. If that's the direction they continue to go, and based on their needs, curious to where you see they'll go on that.
All right. Well, the first thing that I see with the Dolphins is you had them grab a receiver to start off with, right?
They took Chase.
So, I'm looking at. I mean, this is a fantasy draft. I'm going to go ahead and grab Marshall, wide receiver out of LSU, but I'm going to try to play this closer to the vest, something that they're going to need. And I'm going to keep the kid in city. Jalen Phillips, defensive lineman from the University of Miami, 6'5", 266. And he is supposed to be a force. And that's what they need on their defensive line. And considering the fact that their head coach is a defensive-minded coach, you got to figure he's going to go defense with one of his players. So I'll go ahead and go Jalen Phillips. I don't believe he's taken. And University of Miami, and away we go from there. So that takes us to the Washington football team. Who do you have going?
Well, this isn't going to be a popular pick, but I still think they need massive help on that offensive line. And I think that's where they will spend it. They franchise tag the guard, Brandon Sheriff. So I think they still need an option that's versatile, can play tackle or guard. I'm going to go Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman out of USC.
That was the one that was already taken that I just said from who did Sean drafted him for someone. He went to the no, I'm sorry, Joey drafted him to the Chargers.
Gotcha. Well, then I will slide down to Christian Darrisaw, Virginia Tech out offensive tackle.
Okay.
My next offensive lineman on the board.
And what's your reasoning for that?
Because Elijah Vera Tucker was taken and I missed it.
No, I mean that position at that point of the draft.
I mean, I feel like that's where Washington needs the most of their help. I mean, if you're going to bring in and open up that passing game and you need to establish some sort of running game, they have to put the commitment to fixing that offensive line. I mean, the last superstar offensive lineman they had in there had wasn't that Williams that left out of there disgruntled with the training staff. So you've got major repairs and holes, and it's going to be ugly, but they have got to address that line.
So I've got the 20th pick with the Bears, and I'm going to go ahead and take Terrace Marshall out of LSU, 6'4", 200 pounds. When in doubt, draft a receiver at LSU, right? They need some kind of an offensive weapon to give them someone else on the other side. And this is the Bears offense that really hasn't been much of one. So I think they're going to go heavy into trying to improve that offense. Fortunately, Dalton is their quarterback at this point. I do think they may go quarterback later in the draft, but I don't think there's a quarterback worthy of drafting this high in the first round. So you go the best offensive player available, and considering their needs, I really think it's wide receiver. And so I'll also have the 21st pick because I wanted to make sure that Justin got the 22nd pick with the Titans. So 21st pick, you got the Colts. And with the Colts, I feel like that they're going to go line. That they just have to, you cannot. This guy's already been drafted, right? Yeah, okay, he has. All right, sorry. I feel like that you just have to go offensive line or defensive line, because at this point in the draft, the Colts think they have their quarterback, their running back. I've seen some where they're drafting a receiver. I'm like, why would you draft another receiver? You just brought back T.Y. Hilton. You went receiver last year in the draft in the first round. I don't feel like that is a position that you should go dip in the bag more than once on consecutive years. So I guess I'm going to go Tevin Jenkins, the offensive lineman out of Oklahoma State, 6'6", 320 pounds. And he should be ready to plug in at right tackle and just sit out there for 10 years, because once you're a senior, there's no learning curve coming into the NFL. You're a 23-year-old man. It's time to get it and go. And so that's where I'm going. I'm going to go Tevin Jenkins for the Indianapolis Colts.
And that moves us to
out of Oklahoma State, by the way, in case people aren't familiar with them.
Tennessee, 22nd.
Tennessee is the 22nd, pick of the draft.
All right, I'm going to make my fellow fans all cringe here, but this is going to be the Jeffrey Simmons pick 2.0. Yep. I'm liking Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Might be one of the best cornerbacks in the draft. Opted out last year and had a minor procedure, and so he didn't have a pro day. But elite talent, alpha male, backs it up. And if you haven't heard his comments, he's pretty much well, let me just read them to you. You got time, Mac? We got a few seconds. But best believe any team that takes a corner over me, I'm a dog. That's going to tick me off. It's going to tick me off. I'm going to try to do them like Randy Moss did them, when they let him fall. I'm going to try to high step all the way to the end zone with the ball of my hands and point my back when I get in there. It's just the type of dude I am. I'll be suited up this fall, and I can't wait. If that don't scream.
He seems like the type, whatever pick he gets drafted, that's going to be his number, his jersey number. Right?
Oh, yeah. And if he falls to he can't be 22. I don't know. This could work. Actually, he can. Did you not see that the NFL announced yesterday where they're going to loosen up the jersey numbers for positions? Because I think the Kansas City Chiefs are having wide receiver problems between the 30s and the 40s. They have so many retired. So now A.J. Brown couldn't go to number 1 for the Titans because number 1's retired. That's Moon. But you could go back to the deuce for Derrick Henry, and it would open up to 22.
You could.
But should he? I don't think he should. Deuce is legendary after the 2K season.
Yeah, I don't know much, but I know one thing. If he doesn't want to, Caleb Farley's not just going to take 22.
Oh, yeah.
And he ain't got enough money yet to buy it.
I don't care what type of alpha you are. Good luck walking up in there to that man child.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, I'm wearing 22. You dig? Here's a shovel.
Like, here's a shovel. You dig. I'm about to throw you in that hole.
That would not turn out well, man.
But I mean, I see this to where a good talented player could.
And he doesn't have the
fall.
money to buy the jersey yet, right?
I wouldn't assume you would have enough money to buy a jersey from Dick.
Unless he's stupid enough to like take a signing bonus to buy the jersey number. I don't see that happening. He would probably get more creative and, you know, I was the 4th or 5th cornerback taken or something like that. But that is an interesting quote.
Yeah, I mean, I like his approach to that. It reminds me of the Simmons pick. We know that Robinson and Vrabel scout well enough that they're not scared of an injury, and if it's a delay to come back, if they can get that superstar. They've added pass rush this offseason, but by releasing Adoree Jackson, I think cornerback will be their number one move. But I got a feeling other teams are going to be in play for this kid, and I don't know that he'll drop this far. But in our board, he's dropped to 22, and Titans take Caleb Farley.
Yeah, that would be a dream come true because that's definitely what they need, especially considering losing Jackson. But I mean, there's a reason why they lost Jackson because Jackson lost a lot of wide receivers in the.
He wore 3 in college. We're good.
Yeah, there we go. No one has a 3, correct?
No, you should be a kicker.
I know he can't do 22, and he damn sure can't do 27 or 9. 9 is not an option.
They just ask you to leave if you show up. They're like, well, that was a wasted draft pick. Yeah. This kid don't know where he's at.
Yeah, exactly. So real quick before you have to run, Braves this weekend, they're taking on the Phillies. It's a rematch. Braves gotta.
You think short of a sweep's a disappointment? I'll say it. Period.
No,
it's the Phillies.
Short of a series win is a disappointment.
I want retribution for that embarrassment last weekend. I'm sorry. I want full blown sweep. It's on my mind. Yes, they got to win the series. You are absolutely correct. But yeah, I'm greedy. I want full blown sweep. I want to be able to strut like a peacock on Monday because there's a particular Philly fan I got to cross paths with. I don't want to hang my head like I did last Monday. Well, actually, last Monday I was trapped in an airport, so I didn't get to hang my head. But it will be coming this week.
I think a realistic approach would be the series win because sweeps are so difficult to come by. Now, if we pull off the sweep, we're tied with the Phillies. We'd both be 5-4. And I will say this, Chris Russo yesterday mentioned this series, and he said the Braves are going to have something for Philadelphia.
I'm going to tell you what now. The Braves get into a situation where they can finally start hitting some bullpens. Philly's in deep trouble. They have worn theirs out this week. Velasquez has not been the savior that Girardi thought he was going to be. Young man's been in trouble every game I've caught and seen him in, he's been in trouble. So we'll see what happens with that.
The issue we're going to have is we face Wheeler today, and that's going to be against Morton. So Morton's got to be almost flat out dominant. Hopefully the Braves have figured something out because, to be honest with you, if they struggle against him like they did in the first game, that's going to be flat out ugly. And then game 2 on Saturday is Eflin versus Anderson. Eflin looked really good, but Eflin's a guy who's always up and down. So I feel like he can't duplicate that twice. So that's a game that I think you should win. And then the Sunday game is definitely a game you should win because it's Moore, who's trash, versus Drew Smiley, who was pretty good his first time out.
I like your hypothetical thinking there.
If we get
I'm going to stay optimistic.
Tonight, if we get the W tonight, then yes, I believe in the sweep. Obviously, this first game is the most important one to me or most difficult one to figure out because Zach Wheeler is an elite pitcher, and if he has another great night, well,
the main thing that has to come out of this series, let's just put wins and losses aside. They're important, but this is the first full week of the season. Ozzie Albies and Marcell Ozuna, more importantly, they're both as equally important. It just depends on where you put Ozzie in the lineup. But we know Ozuna's, when he's in there, he's been in the 4 hole there. And he's been providing an opportunity to walk Freddie to faces, and he's got to get that bat hot. If not, this lineup is not potent. And Ozzie, dude, lay the bunt down. Do something. You have got to make some contact and keep carrying this when they put him at the 8 last year, and he did a great job of, remember how much he flipped and got you through the 9-hole? His sole job was to extend and at least get the batter to the plate, so the next inning you had Ronald up top, and he did that job phenomenal last year.
I want to see him, like, if it's a right-handed pitcher, I want to see Albies down at the 7 slot, maybe 6. Because I don't think I'm putting Riley above Albies. They're both kind of in that same. Plus, it also allows you to bust it up if there's a bullpen change. Pache down at 8 is fine with me. That's where he belongs. But get Lieutenant Dan up there, dude. Get Lieutenant Dan up there because he will move the runner. He may not always come through, but he's pretty clutch. And I would rather have an extra at bat for him than Albies on most occasions.
I mean, theoretically, right now you could have 2 on, 2 out, and it would be Acuna and Freddie on first, and that's how you face Darno in the 5 spot. Because you could just pitch around. You attack, you avoid Ronald, and you attack Ozzie.
What's your walk off, sir?
Great Masters weekend, everybody. Be safe. Go Bravos, and see you on the flip side Monday, gentlemen.
All right, brother. Great job.
Hello, is this Judy?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, thanks for being flexible and doing this job interview over FaceTime. Anyway, let's get right to it. Are you available on Sundays?
Yes.
All day?
Yeah.
So you don't go to church. Okay.
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. The first round of the Masters is in the books. We'll get to the leaderboard here in a second, but today's tee times looks like this. At 8 a.m., Vijay Singh starts it all off. 9:12, Freddie Couples tees off, followed by Zach Johnson at 9:24. Billy Horschel takes the green at 9:48, and Phil Mickelson, Tommy Fleetwood both start their round at 10:06 a.m. Adam Scott gets his day going with Bryson DeChambeau, who is 4 over and trying to rally. They started off at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Tony Finau and Justin Thomas at 10:42, while Jordan Spieth and Colin Morikawa begin at 10:54 a.m. Jason Day is at 12:48, along with Matt Wolff. Hideki Matsuyama, 1 o'clock Eastern, along with Harry English. And at 1:12, Bubba Watson, Brooks Koepka, and Victor Hovland all begin their round. Sergio Garcia is at 1:24 with Webb Simpson, and Dustin Johnson, Lee Westwood at 1:36. John Rahm and McIlroy at 1:48. And the final pairing, 2 o'clock Eastern, Patrick Reed, Daniel Berger, and Paul Casey. Full coverage begins at 3 Eastern on ESPN, but select holes and pairings can be followed on the Plus. Some games of interest yesterday. Mets over the Marlins 3-2 on a controversial ending. Cubs over the Pirates 4-2. Craig Kimbrell locks down the save. And the Red Sox stay red hot, winning 4 in a row, beating the Orioles 7-3. Games of interest today at 3:10 Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays opening day. They host the New York Yankees. It's Corey Kluber versus Rich Hill. Nats and Dodgers are at 4:10 Eastern. Walker Buehler versus Joe Ross. Angels and Blue Jays are at 7:07 p.m. And at 7:20, the Philadelphia Phillies try to continue where they left off. After sweeping the Atlanta Braves, they're heading to Truist Park. 7:20 first pitch. It's Charlie Morton versus Zach Wheeler. If you're looking for a good late game, the A's are at the Astros, Mania versus McCullers at 8 o'clock. And in the National Hockey League at 7 o'clock Eastern on the Plus, you've got the Rangers taking on the Islanders. On NBA TV, the Grizzlies are at the Knicks at 7:30, and at 10 o'clock, the Wizards travel to the Warriors. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in socially distanced dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes. And it's the choice of a new generation.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Armchair Quarterbacks here on CBS Sports Radio. Me and Matt try to get our cardio in. The weight loss challenge.
And I'm done for the week.
I'm gonna have to ask you to be up closer to 300 pounds to be in a weight loss challenge, buddy. I need you to spend the next several months putting on weight and then re-enter the challenge.
You can only see from here up.
You're like when Brian chimed in on the weight loss challenge at 171. We're like, screw you, man.
Go to hell.
My left leg says, where's the rest of you?
Yeah.
How are you this week, sir?
Doing good, man. So I started my challenge on Monday. I think so did you. Kind of. You started going on Monday with your stuff. So just getting used to that whole. I've cut down the drinking, which is already cut down the calories, cut down the food, which is already cut down the weight. So
the hardest part to me.
It is, man.
Because if you stop drinking, what am I going to do? Just sit around, and just breathe air? That's what.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
I've been going to bed at 6:35 every night.
And waking up at noon. I've got to cut a huge chunk out of my life so calories don't come into play.
Exactly. I went to bed for dinner.
Exactly. To hell with exercising, I'll just sleep through dinner, and that'll be enough. I've been hitting the gym pretty regularly last week or so, going on 2. I'm trying to remember when it actually started. I feel like it was late March, but for all intents and purposes, I'll just say the beginning of April. So we'll be chiming in again every first Wednesday of the month. For anyone that wants to join with us, you'll be able to just put your weight in the comments here on YouTube Live.
I like your response to when I tried to get you to gamble with this.
I don't remember what I said, but
I said, I said, what's the bet? You're like, what do you mean bet? I want to live longer, be healthier.
Exactly. Betting on my life. It's well, I mean, the older you get, the more aware you get, and I'm obviously a good number of years older than you, so start paying attention to it. Now, I really wish I would have not gotten in the bad habits that I did over the past several years. By the way, I do want to mention because I would be in trouble if I didn't.
I was gonna say, is it your anniversary today?
Yes, it's our 5-year anniversary. So a lot of people lost a lot of bets.
Well, I saw a pop up on Facebook yesterday. It was like 5 years ago today. We were at the watching the game.
Yeah, 5 years ago today, I almost died. That damn foul ball about took me out.
You were just trying to talk, do the nice thing.
Oh man! Boom! Oh, what the hell was that? Looking around, I thought it was Catherine's dad that zipped it at me first. I was like, man, it's a little too late to bring this up now, buddy.
He's like, I had one more chance.
Yeah, exactly. Man, yeah.
We were at years, man.
Thank you. We were at a baseball game, y'all. For y'all don't know what we're talking about. We were at a baseball game for the what the hell is that thing called?
Diamond Jet?
The rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
I think we did the rehearsal else at the actual site or something. I can't remember how we did the rehearsal, but the dinner itself was at the ball game because my wife pretty much ran the show for the wedding, and she designed it in a baseball thing because she knows it's my favorite sport. It's also the first trip we ever made together. So, and it was none of my doing. I did not ask her to do this. You know, she's just an incredible person. So that's what she did. And so we went to the Jacksonville, at the time it was the Suns game, and we rented out one of those areas where you can have like a food area and whatnot, and we watched the game, and it was really cool. It was a nice night too, and they had fireworks that they do. I think they do that every Friday, but it was also the beginning of the season, so that had something to do with it. It was opening day for the Jacksonville Suns, and so that was cool. And I'm standing there talking to this older lady that I believe she was a relative of my wife's, and I've got my back to the game like I shouldn't have, but I was trying to be respectful. I still don't remember who she was. I think she was a friend of the family or something like that. But I'd say a lady that was up in her 80s, right? Very, very short. So luckily I was kind of bent over talking to her. I think if I was standing straight up, I'd be done. And this foul ball comes zipping by, and it whizzed by my ear by like, I don't know, a few inches. And I hear thump because there's a glass that the ball hit, a glass window that was, I guess, the indoor dining or whatever. And I turned around, and I remember my wife's father, or soon to be wife's father, looking over at me. He comes up, he goes, "Dave, I thought you were done." He's like, I thought that was it. I was like, I'm a tough old bird and all that kind of stuff. And later on, I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would have died, but it would have made the I do a lot more questionable. She's like, I don't know if I want to be married to this vegetable.
as you roll up in the lady's wheelchair.
Will you take him for better or worse? Well, it can't get any worse than this.
It's only uphill from here.
Yeah, I've changed his diapers 4 times today. It can't get any worse.
And that's usually half that.
Yeah, it's like she wasn't signing on for that. That's 10, 15 years from now.
That was a good night. That was a good week, man. That was a good weekend. That was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was one of my. It wasn't just because it was my wedding. It was one of the more enjoyable weddings that I've ever been to. It wasn't, because some of them you go to and they're stuffy, and you always feel like that you're always having to be, at ABC at certain times. And it seems like especially if you're involved in the wedding, if you're like one of the grooms, you feel like it's almost a second job. I enjoyed your wedding. Stephen Kendra's was fun.
Yeah.
But
I missed the good parts of Stephen Kendra. I left early on Stephen Kendra, so I missed all those shenanigans.
Oh well, yeah. The after hour shenanigans was the best. Oh yeah, that was old Turbo. Oh man, people falling in. I forget what they were called, but they kept falling in this mucky
pond.
Scum pond or something like that. They're calling it something like that. Scum pond. It's dark as hell, and everyone kept falling in the damn thing, and they're in their nicer clothes because they just attended a wedding, and it got pretty rowdy.
The wedding was on a farm, so let's let the people know that. It wasn't in a ballroom.
Camp and I got so hammered, and then that night we went home and had to be back at work in a few hours, drunker than a skunk, and show up for work. And I remember Camp cutting his hand. This is when I was in the restaurant business. Camp cuts his hand and it's falling all over the place. And Billy wants to send him home. I say, he goes home. I was like, I'll cut my head off to go home right now. So he's making it worse. McGee was like, he does not get to bow out. I was like, he's the one that kept me up all night.
I can't even imagine Camp and Billy working together. I can only imagine those.
I tried to tell Billy at the time it was a terrible idea to have the two of us scheduled that next morning. Man, I gotta have you. We're gonna be busy. I was like, yeah, but you need to bring in some of the bobos that normally don't work that busy shift. Put an extra one on or something, because it's going to be a disaster. You think you got two of your studs walking through the door? No. We're about 25% of what we normally are going. Because, man, I was still seeing double walking. I was like, oh, my God, this is terrible. We're trying to eat stuff. It's just awful. It's one of those things where, you sober up halfway through the shift, the sweat's pouring out. You go, oh, man. Camp, what happened to your hand?
Did you have 10 fingers last night?
Exactly. All right. So enough of memory lane.
Happy anniversary, man. Happy 5 years.
Thank you. Question. How much of the Masters are you planning on catching this weekend?
Hopefully a lot tomorrow. It's supposed to rain. I think it's supposed to rain a lot tomorrow. So I'll probably get a good amount on Saturday. Sunday, if it's close, I'll find a TV somewhere. We got a lot of plans on Sunday. But hopefully tomorrow I'll get to watch a good majority of it. It's just weird not seeing Tiger. It was weird enough last year being in September, October, whatever it was last year.
Yeah.
But it's weird enough now just not watching Tiger, and it's just weird. I mean, I know Tiger's coming to a head anyway if he's not done now. But 2 years ago when he won,
I'm telling you, that's a strange story about Tiger because we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But I know Justin's a huge Tiger fan, so I always kind of let it go, and so I didn't want to keep needling him. But there's something going on there where he hit a tree. He was driving over 80 miles an hour in a 45, right? So he was going essentially 40 miles over the speed limit. And they said that there's no sign of him slowing down.
It said he hit the accelerator instead of the brake.
Right.
That's what I read.
So that's one or two things. Intoxication, or something much worse, meaning it was intentional.
Right.
I don't believe the latter because I could not wrap my head around someone whose life has got it made in Tiger Woods, right? But you just never know what people are going through. So I hope that's not the case.
Right.
But the idea that he accidentally hit the accelerator, I just don't buy it.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I don't buy it. And we do know that he has had issues with pain pills in the past. So whatever the case may be, it's his business, not ours, realistically.
Right.
I just hope he gets the help that he needs, whatever the case was, because it's not normal. And it is a little strange that there was no toxicology kind of test at the scene. So he regardless, he was handled with kid gloves by the California police.
Right.
So you and I do that, buddy. We are peeing and getting blood taken from us. It's happening
on the scene.
On the scene before they get there.
Exactly.
What are you doing? I'm administering my own test.
I know my
myself under arrest.
I know my body.
I've placed myself under arrest. I know my rights.
Who do you have winning the Masters?
Well, I originally have DeChambeau. He's about, I don't count Rose as being the quote unquote leader because I don't think you can sustain a 7 under.
Yeah.
Just nothing against Rose. I think Rose can win it, but I just feel like 7 under. I think he's going to come back to the pack by at least by tomorrow. Originally I had DeChambeau and I had McIlroy, which looks terrible at this point. He's what, 4 over. He's going to have to hell of a round to make it. But my wild card was Fleetwood, and that hole in one helped. I think he's 2 over. He might be a little. I actually didn't catch his final score at the time that he hit that. He was 2 over. No, okay, he is 2 over. Okay, so I've got my eyes on him. But if I can reset and looking at who's got the realistic chance at this point, Webb Simpson is a guy that I keep my eye on, and I'm pulling for Jordan Spieth. But it's like Tony said, it's so difficult to win 2 in a row, 2 weeks in a row. You have to be playing so phenomenal to do that. And you have to have a lot of luck run your way.
Right.
With that being said, it'll probably be someone that I don't care about, and then that'll suck. I'm pulling for the Americans. I do like Hideki Matsuyama. I've always been a fan of his, so I don't even know why.
All time, yeah.
He's just a really good player, and John Rahm is one I would keep an eye on. But some of these guys, and I'm going to jinx myself, but when I see a guy like Brian Harmon that I barely know, or Jason Kokrak,
yeah, he's on my DraftKings, so I'm okay with it.
So, well, but with him. Name like that, I just can't pull for him.
You don't see yourself cheering that loud.
Yeah. Patrick Reed, Webb Simpson. If I was going to do a 3 again from what I see today, I would go Patrick Reed, Webb Simpson, and Jordan Spieth. One of those, because I am pulling for an American to win it, but Matsuyama's no joke. I just don't think Justin. I feel like we see this with Justin Rose all the time. He's in the conversation on Thursday, and then by Sunday you're like, man, that dude is 4 over par. What the hell happened?
Yeah, I mean that's true.
And he had a lucky bounce on 9 that really helped him quite a bit. So who do you have winning?
Man. My favorite golfers, my DraftKings, I always have 2 people I pick the same every week. I pick Paul Casey and the Matt, how do you say his name?
Matsuyama?
Yeah, Matsuyama. I have him and Paul Casey every week. Who I really have winning it, though, is and I can't pronounce the name either. It's
Rose.
Victor Hovland.
Yeah, Hovland. Yeah.
Yeah, I like.
What are you wearing, Cobra Kai this week?
I'm wearing a Cobra Kai. I lost a couple pounds. I can fit back into it. the Rockford Peaches?
No, it's Rockford Files.
I know.
One of the most underrated shows of all time. I'm telling y'all, it's phenomenal. I think it's on Hulu now. It's on something. I saw something where it was available.
And another guy. This is Colin Morikawa.
Yeah.
Those are my 4 that I mean, if Spieth wins it, I'm not going to be mad about that. I like Spieth. I want him to do well.
I was such a big Spieth fan when he was on his roll, and I really wanted to see him make a charge, and then he fell off because I can't believe it had been 4 years since he'd won a tournament. We got to get into this draft, or we ain't going to get it done.
All right, let's go. I took some notes, so hopefully people ain't picked. So let's get it going.
I think we're going to start slowing this down and start doing like 2 picks a day, because we get rambling on what's really going on in the world. And then I'm like, oh, what the hell? 7 picks in 13 seconds. Here we go. Okay. So I don't know if you watched the first part of the show with the picks.
Yeah, because he took one. You took one of mine, and he took one of mine.
Okay, good. So we don't have to rehash that. So we're sitting at the 23rd pick with the Jets, and I've got the Jets. If they're gonna go and grab, I believe, Zach Wilson with the first pick overall. Do you want to fortify that line? And I think they do. Now, the smart money would be for them to go after Greg Newsome, defensive back out of Northwestern. And I would say that's probably where they go. So that's what I'm going to go with. But it would not shock me if they go offensive line, because even though they got the kid Becton out of Louisville, who's playing phenomenal, by the way. I mean, you never have too many good offensive linemen, especially when you have a young quarterback, give him more time to pass. But you know what? To hell with that. I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to go Jalen Mayfield, offensive lineman out of Michigan. I just feel like
you bastard.
Well, I mean, if you can improve your offensive line with a young quarterback, why not?
6'5", 320, big boy.
Yeah, and I'm usually not a big fan of guys that played in the Big Ten, but when it comes to linemen, I'm all right drafting them.
Right.
So where are you going with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, has Najee Harris been taken?
No, he hasn't.
So I was going to go with him. For some reason, I thought he had been taken, but I want to go running back with the Steelers, actually. But if he had been taken, honestly, I was flipping the script and going Jalen Mayfield from Michigan.
So you're going to take Harris running back out of Alabama?
Yeah. Because Pittsburgh, I don't think.
It's unbelievable how much the running back has been devalued that he could last to the 24th pick.
Yeah, he's a beast. I'm surprised he wasn't closer to the Heisman than he was, you know?
Yeah, I'm just very surprised on how used to running backs were one of the first ones taken, and now they just get pushed down. Okay, so now we go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they've obviously have Trevor Lawrence now. Their receiving core is trash.
Have they came out and said that that's the pick?
What's that?
Has Jacksonville came out and said that's the pick?
They haven't, but they have, right? Okay. It would be an absolute shock. If not, it's going to be like Zach Wilson, and then Trevor Lawrence will go to the Jets, so it won't change the draft much, right? They're definitely going quarterback. There's no way they're not going quarterback. They're not going Gardner Minshew 2.0. So that leaves them with needing an offensive player. I'm a little surprised that this guy is looked upon as such a high draft pick or highly ranked in the wide receiver ranks. But he is a talent. It's just that normally you don't see guys make it to their senior year and become the talent, right? So you got Devontae Smith gone. You got Waddle gone. You got Chase gone. And so a lot of eyes are pointing towards Kadarius Toney at the University of Florida. And just because of Urban Meyer's ties to the University of Florida.
Tony.
If he exactly, if he's what he thinks he is, and you also got to look at the only other guy that's ranked above him is Rondale Moore. He's 5'9", and I think Kadarius Toney is this huge guy, but at 6 feet, man, 5'9". I mean, you're talking about a slot. What I mean by slot, I'm talking about like a Julian Edelman type, right?
Trash spread the field last year, but I mean, he went to Pitts or Toney. That was his guys, you know. And Pitts is already gone in the draft. I'm sure he's already gone in y'all's draft. All right, in the draft.
Yeah, I actually drafted him with the Falcons at number 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think Toney's a great pick if that's where you're going.
Yeah, that's where I'm going because of the ties. The University of Florida, Terrace Marshall's already gone. Smith, Waddle, Jamar Chase, and so you've got some big receivers that are still left, obviously, but the NFL has become such a don't touch me league that the size doesn't really matter anymore. So that's where I'm going.
I like that pick. And like I said, the Urban Meyer connection, keep a Florida boy down there in Florida. I'm not sure where Tony's from originally, but just you see that a lot in Florida, people staying around Jacksonville and Tampa areas.
So that takes us to the Cleveland Browns. And I'm curious to see where you go with this.
Well, I mean, they're a fun team to watch. I mean, they've always been I've always kind of rooted for them because I felt bad for them. And now they're actually kind of good. I like Baker Mayfield. His commercials definitely helped that cause. But their offense, I think, is there. A couple of plays last year, man, they beat Kansas City. They're right there at it. So I think their offense is solid. Get a little defense, help the big boy out on the other side and go Jason Owa, edge from Penn State.
I'm trying to find him to make sure.
OWE8. I got to back up if he is.
Okay. I was making sure he wasn't one of the guys that was already taken. All right. I don't believe he has been taken.
Put him on the other side of Garris Miles and just see if that defense can get a little bit. Like I said, they were a couple of plays away from going, I think, to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, and considering the fact that he's young, 6'5", 253, I don't believe he's been taken because I think I would have remembered him because they've been talking about him a lot on the NFL Network. So, okay, so we get them an edge rusher, and Monday we will have the Ravens and Saints. We'll finish out the first round on Monday. So by the time we talk to you on next Friday, it'll be second round. We plan on getting all the way through 3 rounds by the time draft day gets here. So get your deep dives ready. Phenomenal punter out of Wake Forest. I really had my eye on.
If I had the Washington football team, I was just going to be like a punter from mid Tennessee.
It's time to turn back time and do our walk-offs on this Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope y'all are getting ready to watch the Masters, man. It should be an incredible weekend and a great weekend for baseball. We didn't get a chance to get into the NBA, but because we went down memory lane for 17 minutes.
I'm okay with that, man. The NBA is killing me, so I'm okay with that.
Fair enough. Turn back time. On this date, 1925, Babe Ruth was rushed to the hospital, known as the bellyache, heard around the world. A lot of people felt like that it was due to his drinking and whatnot. They never really came out with the real reason. I'm thinking it might have been ulcers or whatnot, but it was a huge deal back in 1925. Even without social media, they had newspapers everywhere, right? And that was on the front page on every newspaper for several weeks, evidently. People forget that back in the 20s and 30s and whatnot, before the age of television, people followed their favorite players through some radio and a lot of it through the newspaper. And there are people that grew up watching their sport, their favorite player, and never actually saw him play. Not on TV, nothing. They just only read about him in the newspaper. If you were sitting in the middle of Kansas in the 1920s, you knew about Babe Ruth, but you only knew about it because of the newspaper, unless you could find a way to catch an AM station coming out of New York City. And then there became the very first broadcast that people don't realize, they were not live at the stadium. Someone would see a pitch and they would send that note to someone, and through Morse code, through a ticker tape, it would get sent to various news outlets. This is one of the reasons why the AP News became so big. But you would get it at your station, and your guy would read it off like he was calling an actual ball game, not even seeing the damn play, just making up things. It's one of the reasons why those broadcasters back then were so damn good, is because they had to be creative with the calls and paint the picture.
I bet there's some dirty bets going on back then.
Oh God. Oh, it's famously talked about how back in the turn of the 20th century, most of your baseball stadiums still didn't have walls. There were fans standing out there, and if a deep fly ball was hit and you were the home team, the fans would all rush back so the outfielder had a chance to make the play. And if they were the home team, they would push in a little bit to make it a home run. And then there's also talks about, all kinds of gambling going on back then, that there'd be guys out there in the outfield offering $20 to catch the ball. And if another guy offered $25 to drop it, the ball would be dropped. There's some dirty, dirty baseball going on in the early 1900s.
I like it.
Birthdays.
It's your birthday today. What does that mean? I guess I'll try to explain.
Happy birthday. I don't even know who this is, but Wang Yang's 50th birthday. I feel like you have to say Wang Yang if you get a chance. Youngest Olympic record breaker at age 17 in the 88 Olympics. I do not remember. I don't even have the sport in front of me.
I thought that was a picture for the Cardinals.
Wang Yang. They don't even say what country. I'm assuming China, but they don't even say what. Broke some kind of record. And I'm thinking record breaker. I would have said gymnastics in 88 because they were really good in gymnastics, but you don't break a record in gymnastics.
You bring it back.
Yeah, you break a score. Graham Lloyd is 54 years old. People don't remember him. He's a baseball pitcher. He was a lefty. He played for the Yankees, Brewers, and he was from Australia. So this is our international happy birthdays. And I really don't see a big name of consequence. And I'll give you another one since it's golf day. From Spain. He passed away 10 years ago today, but what a hell of a golfer and a hell of a couple. The one that I remember him from was the British Open in 88. 5-time winner of, three-time British Open winner, 2-time Masters winner. Seve Ballesteros, born in 1957. He passed away early age, but 10 years ago today he passed away. And since this is a golf weekend, what is your walk off for the day?
No, I'm just ready for this. It's beautiful outside right now, so hopefully get some stuff going on tonight when I get off work. Tomorrow's supposed to rain. Watch a lot of Masters. Sunday got some just family plans. Just watch the Masters, man. It's finally back at the right time. Happy anniversary to you, 5 years, man. Keep it coming.
Yeah, thank you. We're not going to do much tonight because I work late and she works late. So we're planning on getting up and going to brunch on Sunday and then just kind of figure out where the day goes. Luckily, the Braves play a 7:00 game Sunday night. And by that time, man, she'll be hanging out in the bathtub, bubbles and stuff, and she won't want anything to do with me by 7:00 at night. So that actually works out well. Hey, if you want to give a Curly Lambeau, if he were alive today, he'd be 123 years old. It's his birthday. Not that Curly Lambeau Field of the Green Bay Packers. Anytime I see one of these classic names come up in the birthdays, I always think of that line from Seinfeld where Seinfeld's parents are sitting there at the table talking with George, and they're talking about some relative and said, how old would Aunt Shirley be today if she would have lived? And Costanza's dad goes, she never would have made it. Because some relative that died at an early age of polio or something, and she never would have made it. All right, my walk-off is obviously Masters. Great weekend of baseball. The Braves are playing the Phillies. There's going to be a couple of national televised games on that, so you want to check that out. There's going to be some revenge. There could be some chippiness because with the Phillies sweeping them last weekend, and now it's in Atlanta, and the fans, there's going to be 33% fans in the stands, which will be one of your bigger baseball stadiums, not in the state of Texas, allowing that many fans in the stands. So that should be a lot of fun too. Great job, sir. We will see you next week, and enjoy the Masters.
See you, buddy.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette.